Hello, my absolutely brilliant and beautiful astrology soulmates, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of August 11th, going all the way until the 17th. And the theme that we are working with this week is all about having clearer signals and careful, but really taking the steps that we need to take this week. Mercury's going to be coming direct as soon as we're coming into this week, but I want to give you some details about that as we're heading into Monday because it is busy. It's a busy day. There's a lot going on Monday. So we'll talk about that, but we've also got the Saturn Uranus sextile happening this week. Mercury and Mars are kind of chasing each other, doing a little dance this week, and we're going to have a last quarter, so it is time to do a review and let some things come to an ending. So, plenty of movement going on this week. Just a quick note before we dive in. Please make sure that you have got your own natal chart because the very best astrology is your astrology. So, as I'm talking about where the transits and the aspects are happening, you want to see where it's actually happening in your chart because no matter who you are listening to on the internet, if you're not seeing it in your particular chart, you're just getting a very general kind of idea of what's going on, which may still be helpful and impactful, but it's better if it's your own particular chart. And if you are serious and you are ready to learn to speak the language of astrology and bring it into your own life, I would love to see you over at my astrology school, GAFA, which is the Grace Astrological Fluency Academy, where I teach you my method of combining evolutionary and humanistic astrology so that you are leaving with brilliant astro fluency under your belt. The doors are open. All of those things are in the description box down below, along with the timestamps. Okay, let's head into Monday, August 11th. First of all, it is just a busy, energetic day. But as we're coming in on Monday to our moon day, the moon is going to be in the vibration of Pisces. So as we're starting the day, the energy can be like the fog is beginning to lift, but we're also in a bigger position of trusting our intuition as well. There's no need to like sprint forward or feeling like we need to leap at something because we're coming in a lot more intuitive. We're actually coming into Monday with our shoulders in a little bit more of a position of surrender. Now, we're going to also see that Mercury is going to station direct here on Monday. So your mind is recalibrating everything that you've been going over for the last 3.5 weeks. And even if the details feel a little bit wobbly, or like the timing's a little bit off or something like that, there's still plenty of time for tech and travel hiccups. So just make a little bit of space for that. I think that what we get to experience is that things are starting to come back online. Now, this Mercury retrograde's been being done in Leo. So as we're coming out of this retrograde, one of the questions that the station, I think, asks for all of us is how am I using my voice? What story am I telling about myself or to myself? Because whatever that is, where you needed some clarity, now we start to feel a bit more forward momentum returning. But some of the judgments that we may have had about ourselves, some of the decisions we want to make, they might still feel just a little bit colored, especially because we're so emotionally heightened with the moon and the vibration of Pisces. But again, I think that this energy, especially just the retrograde coming off, is just let it come to you. Let clarity come to you. Now, the other portion of this retrograde that I want to talk about and keep your mind on is that, yes, Mercury is coming direct, so things are going to be coming back online. But this is not the full end of the Mercury retrograde cycle. We have to get to August 25th when Mercury leaves its post retrograde shadow time and starts fully moving forward from the degrees where it took its retrograde. So if things are slowly coming online, it's perfectly normal. Take your time. Now, we're also going to see that Saturn, who's retrograde here in the vibration of Aries, is in this nice sextile to Uranus, who's over in Gemini. Now, we see these two pass each other a couple times, and this is going to be their number two contact, and Saturn is retrograde here. So this is a lot of grounding. It's innovative, but it becomes very realistic with Saturn here being retrograde, right? So if you wanted to upgrade something, you're like, I need to innovate and upgrade, this would be a great energy to be able to do that. And it's more about the pivots or the new decisions that you're making, the direction you're going to go. It's a really sustainable one. It's like new plus useful. Those two things need to come together rather than being new and adding more chaos to your life. It needs to be new plus structured and useful. So it's funny, I think about this aspect and I think about going out and, if you need to change the tires on your car, of course, you're going to put the car in park, put the brake on, lift it up, do all the things you need to do, right? Those are new tires done in a useful, structured way that's going to be safe and help you get done what you need to do, as opposed to trying to change the tires on your car while the car is still moving, right? That's what the energy could be like before. And now we just want to settle that down, handle it slowly and safely. And I think that the Monday energy really speaks to that. Now, I also think that there are some uncomfortable manifestations that are available as we're traveling here on Monday as well. Now, we're going to talk about that Jupiter Venus conjunction, but still, let's talk about some uncomfortable things that could be coming up. First of all, mental static, right? Your mind is going and there's just static, or there's an obsession that has creeped in here in some way, or because we are in the stationing time, you could be having a conversation and it feels like there's mixed messages being sent in some way. And it's like, well, I thought we said we were going to, and then it's like you can't get out of a loop, or you can't seem to get the clarity around it in some way. Now, the other thing, because we are seeing that Uranus is in Gemini, right? And that is one of the signs that Mercury rules as well, is that I do see Monday having an opportunity where there's like too many options to be picking for and you're overwhelmed. And what I can tell you is you don't need to decide right now. Monday is the energy where you do not need to decide right now. You absolutely have cosmic permission to slow down. Fix the process. If the process of what you're doing and how you're trying to get to resolution is not working, fix the process. Pause. Let a plan revive itself, right? This is all about, yes, we need to modernize or we need to step forward. That's very much so that Uranian vibration. But there has to be some kind of solid boundary to fortify that thing. And that is the Saturnian energy. Okay, now as we're dancing between this Monday, Tuesday energy as well, we're going to add in the vibration of the Venus and the Jupiter conjunction coming together in the vibration of Cancer. And if you haven't already checked out your August 2025 full horoscope for your sign, I encourage you to check that out because I go into that a lot more. But as we're experiencing this, we're coming in and this is big heart energy. It's a big heart kind of green light. And I know we're getting really excited about the benefics coming together because that's Venus and Jupiter. They're amplifying the big heart, especially in Cancer. They're amplifying generosity, affection. There's this appetite, there's this beauty, there's reconciliation, a coming home that can be a part of this energy, right? Because essentially we're looking for the spaces to amplify that nourish us, that create family, that create a space where we can be really creative and flourish within that. However, we're going to also see that the moon starts to make its journey into the Aries vibration. And this is like, it flips us a bit more into action mode. Where I like this combination as we're traveling through Tuesday is that it's big heart meets action meets courage. So it also kind of is like, I think the to-do list gets kicked up a little bit. It gets a little bit more action oriented on this particular day. But something we have to be mindful of when Venus and Jupiter come together is that it can make things bigger. Absolutely. So the space of overpromising, overspending, over pouring out in an emotional space where it's like, whoa, that was too much, right? Like we gave a little bit too much, or we're trying to make too much of a big push. We want to pay attention to that. Instead, it's like feed what's already trying to grow right around you. I mean, literally and figuratively, right? What is already kind of naturally and easily coming into your space that you can put your hands on Tuesday and just invest in that. Cook something wonderful for yourself. Cook for the people that love you. Simplify things. Make that phone call that's been long overdue. Call your mom, call your trusted support person, whatever it is. And when a little bit of tension spikes in there, a great thing that you can do is go to that Aries moon. Move your body, move your body, move your body. Okay, on Wednesday, we're bringing this Aries moon in with us, which we continue to move with a bit of confidence here on Wednesday. And we're also going to have some void of course energy creep in on Wednesday, taking us through Thursday. And we're going to see that the last aspect that the moon is going to make before it heads into this void of course is a fire trine. And I love that because it's going to be the moon in Aries in a trine to the sun in Leo. And this is pure ignition, right? Personal leadership. I'll go first. I'll say what I need to say. I'll move myself in this direction. And it's really, I think, a bit of uncomplicated courage here. That's what I like about a fire trine. It is uncomplicated courage. You can go ahead and move forward. And then as the moon comes into its void of course container and we're set here to rest, or we're set to finish just the things that we've been working on, the fire is lit, right? The candle's already lit. You just need to go with it. So if you had things that you needed to finish up and you needed to get done, you needed to polish off a little something over here, this is a great energy on Wednesday to be able to handle that. Now, in the void of course time, I talk about this every time I'm talking about a void of course, but the head game can kick on. We start thinking about things. And so one of the things with a fire trine at our backs is that you can get impatient. You can get really impatient, right? Like you're behind somebody in traffic and you perceive that they are moving slower than you would like them to be moving, and your impatience is kicking in. You're like, I feel like this go, go, go energy, or I want things to be moving at a particular speed. Why aren't they going? So you do need to be a little bit mindful on that. Now, a great place to redirect that energy is if you've got your own things that you can do and you can take care of at the pace of a sprint, and that feels good to you and you want to get into that, I think go ahead and do it. Refine that thing, edit that thing, just go full into it that you need to. But you want to practice this line between what's my speed and my comfort and where I think everybody else needs to be moving as well. Now, rolling us into Thursday after the moon has had its void of course time, we're going to travel with the moon a little bit more settled into the vibration of Taurus. And we're also going to see that we're going to have Mercury and Mars in a sextile to each other. And these two have been chasing each other this week. So it's kind of exciting. Now, first of all, as we have this Taurus moon coming in, we're coming into more grounded space. It's going to settle the nervous system. It's going to settle some of these energies and bring them down to ground, because that Taurus energy is going to crave more tangible, steady, grounded progress. So this is a great time to slow the pace just a little bit. But as Mercury now direct and Mars are in this sextile and they're going to continue to have this dance with each other, it's like your words become the tools that you're going to use to create these practical, tangible results, right? A decision that you make feels like it's starting to land and it's starting to stick. It's starting to become a lot more tangible. You get your logistics in order over here, so I think that of the energies this week, Thursday is the most productive day that you may have. Of course, based on your own chart, that may look differently, but this is productive energy. Now, where can it get challenging? Of course, this is a moon in Taurus. If progress is trying to move forward and you are afraid or you don't like it or you feel like you can't clearly see the vision, that Taurus moon in you is gonna dig those heels in. I'm only doing it my way. I'm only doing it this way. And that can actually be a little bit of a hindrance because you're gonna be the one stopping your own progress, right? Now, the other thing that can come with it is the Taurus moon. We don't always give it enough credit, but it can make us a little bit more sensitive, and particularly to some kind of critique that comes off, right? It's not that you're not willing to take criticism or have your plan adjusted. It's the way that it's delivered. And if you feel like somebody is delivering something to you without tact, that gets under the Taurus skin very, very quickly. So be mindful. Someone could deliver something to you like that, and you want to dig those heels in instead of use it to be productive. Or you could be the one doing that to someone else. Not that you meant to be tactless, but sometimes it happens that way. Better use of that energy, send the email, right? Do the thing, send the email. If you have a timeline for a project that needs to get put together, if you need to when the moon is in Taurus, I try to batch record my content, right? I try to get really in a lot of action with that because it's very grounded and steady. On Friday, we've got this beautiful last quarter moon happening at 23 degrees of Taurus. And I love checking in on the last quarter moon because it tells me that a part of a lunar family that you've been working on since about 2023, you've built something here. And now it's time to bring it to completion and also have the recognition. Even if the recognition is just you looking into your own life going, yeah, I did that. I built that, right? In Taurus, we're going to look at Taurian things in your life. We're going to reassess your material reality, what's happening there, money, time, your body, your possessions, how you output energy, how you receive. These are going to be massive things that we're going to evaluate and how this has been going for you. One of the questions I think of at the last quarter moon is what have you built at this point that truly supports and reflects your current values? From there, what needs to be released? It needs to be delegated. It needs to be, you need to repot the plant. Like, what is it that needs to be adjusted at this time? But coming back and looking into your own lunar story, and I'm going to put this in the comment section down below, we want to go first to the new moon time. And this was May 19th of 2023. And what were you starting at this time? Because it was the new moon. You were planting your seeds of intention at 28 degrees of Taurus, right? Around your values, around your resources. What were you planting at that time? Then we come forward to February 16th of 2024. This is our first quarter time. So you are in action at 27 degrees of Taurus. Your action, obstacles are coming up and you need to overcome them. You're making fast decisions. People, places, and things are beginning to fall away because they don't match the request that you made at that new moon time. Then we come forward to November 15th of 2024, and this is the full moon happening at 24 degrees of Taurus. So now it's an illumination. It's also another celebration because now you're seeing, okay, have I built something? What have I built? What is it? And what's the purpose of it? Not what is, not all of these questions, but what's the purpose of what I built now? And does it help me get to the goal that I want to achieve on the other side of this? So you have a pivot. Things are illuminated and you pivot to continue to get to the goal. Now, as we're here on August 16th, 2025, we've got this last quarter at 23 degrees of Taurus, and this is closure. The payment is due. Whether you're making the payment is being made to you. You are harvesting all of the good things. This is the time for that. So when you go back into your story, what is this for you? I can tell you hands down for me, this was moving my family to another country, and all of these stops along the way speak to this entire journey for us. Now, some of the uncomfortable things that we do have to acknowledge as we're looking even through our own lunar family story and the last quarter time is where has a piece of your story or what you've been building, it's actually like a sinking cost. It's like the ship is a bit on fire and you might be refusing to get off the boat because you're attached to it in some way. This is Taurus energy. Taurus will hold on. I am a Taurus. I can tell you we hold on, right? Where is there still a greater story of scarcity or panic when it comes to receiving or resources? Where are you dealing with the uncomfortable truths that your body is signaling to you that I'm done with something, but you're having a hard time letting it go? I think that is something really important to address at this last quarter moon, and prepare yourself in ceremony, in softness, in grace to let go of or to have help letting go of or repotting whatever needs to be reset there. Instead, finish projects that need to be done so that you can collect that payment. Allow yourself to cancel some things that are maybe draining you. And this can include a behavior of just not receiving. That may be a behavior that is actually just draining you. Declutter your space this last quarter time because things are coming to a completion. Declutter just what needs to go to allow you to not move faster, but move better and more resourceful. All right, through the weekend, we're going to have the moon travel through the vibration of Gemini. So the weekend is chatty Cathy time. I love that for us because air is in the lungs. We want to breathe. We want to breathe life into what we're doing. You know, the vibration of our planet, of the energies around us, turn more social, more curious. We're more mobile. We want to get on our mobiles. So this is a great energy throughout the weekend for errands. If you've got a short trip, if you're creating that content, you need to have a conversation, catching up with the siblings, catching up with friends or the neighbors, because Mercury is still in that post retrograde shadow time. It's not done just yet. And it's been in that sextile dancing with Mars as well. So while we're busy and we're curious, it's more like your message wants motion with it, right? I want to go out and talk. I want to be in motion while I'm talking. I'm a hand talker in general. So this could be, think about that for yourself. And you want to be pushing that forward. Now, here's a challenge I do think through the weekend as this moon is traveling through Gemini is first of all, it can be scattered. Emotionally, you can be scattered. You can feel like you have 100 tabs open and you want or need to talk about or to address everything. Gossip, 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 gossip can absolutely be a thing here, right? Like somebody is putting somebody down, they're talking bad about them, not in a way it is to share or to be helpful, but it's to put the other person down so they can lift themselves up, right? So instead of talking about what's really going on with them, they're talking about someone else. So this is a great thing to remember as you're traveling through the weekend. Talk about you. What are you doing? What are you working on? What's got you paralyzed in some kind of fear? Where is your nervous system getting more healthy, right? Try to, through the weekend, avoid gossip because it is just character assassination. Know their way around that and talk about what is going on with you with topics that you choose by design not to be distracted. It's going to be a great thing to think about through the weekend. A lot going on. If I had to give you a quick wrap up, I would say just remember that Mercury's coming direct this week. So our voices are returning. They are coming back online, but still edit a little bit. There may be some fog, especially at the beginning of the week. So edit before you amplify. That's probably a good idea. You'll get full clarity around the post shadow time, August 25th. That Saturn Uranus conversation upgrade, but with a structure. We've got the Mercury and Mars dance all week long. Say it clean. Say it. Say it. Be clean in your speech. Do it. Do what you need to do. Do it once. Be prepared for a re-edit if you need to, and then move on, right? Do it, say it, do it, move on. That is a great, great way to use the energy this week. And that last quarter energy is closing up. It's recapping. You're getting the recognition. You're bringing something to a close. Keep what sustains you. Allow the rest to pass off the scene. All right, my absolutely beautiful friends, I hope you have a gorgeous week and you will share with me in the comment section down below. There are two videos that are going to pop up at the end here, and they are the next most natural place in your journey. So I hope that you check them out, and I hope that they help you this week. I love you a ton, and I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.